Sister demanded half my business I built alone while she partied, and now she wants credit and money. My sister leaned across my little cafe table and slid her phone toward me like she was presenting evidence in court. I talked to Mom and Dad, she said, voice syrupy and loud enough for the couple beside us to glance over. We agree you should do the right thing. My stomach tightened before I even looked down, because I already knew what the right thing meant in my family. The screen showed a notes app list with bullet points: 50% equity transfer, back pay for help, monthly draw. My hands went cold around my iced latte, condensation slicking my fingers. I could hear the espresso machine hissing behind the counter, smell cinnamon in the air, and it felt surreal that anyone could demand half of my life's work like they were asking me to split fries. You're joking, I said, but it came out thin, like I didn't fully believe I was allowed to say no. She didn't blink. She took a slow sip of her matcha and smiled like she was the calm one, the reasonable one. I'm not joking, she said. Claire, I'm your sister. I supported you. I believed in you. And now you're acting like I'm some stranger asking for a handout. Her nails were freshly done, glossy pale pink, and she tapped them against the table once, impatient. You wouldn't even have the business without the family. So let's not get weird. Half is fair. My heart thudded hard enough I could feel it in my throat. I wanted to stand up, to walk out, to do anything except sit there and watch her rewrite my life in real time. It was a Saturday morning when she demanded half my business, and it shouldn't have surprised me. Not really. My sister, Brooke, has always been amazing at turning other people's effort into her story. She's 2 years older than me, pretty in a way that drew attention without trying, and for most of our 20s she treated life like a sequence of parties and soft landings. Jobs came and went. Boyfriends came and went. The constant was that my parents always had an excuse for her. Brooke's finding herself. Brooke's sensitive. Brooke's just had a hard year. Meanwhile, I was the responsible one, which is just another way of saying, you don't get to fall apart. I started my business when I was 24. Not because I had a dream and a Pinterest board and a supportive network. Because I was broke, exhausted, and tired of begging managers for extra shifts. I'd been baking on the side since high school, cookies, brownies, little cakes for birthdays, and people would always say, you should sell these. It was one of those comments that's easy to accept as a compliment and ignore as a plan. Then my dad got laid off, my mom's hours got cut, and the house felt like it was constantly holding its breath. Brooke moved back home for a few months after a breakup and turned it into a year of sleeping in, leaving makeup wipes in the bathroom sink, and bringing home friends at midnight. I started paying more bills than I admitted. Grocery runs. Power. My own phone, obviously. My parents would say, we'll pay you back when things settle. Things never settled. So I did what I always did. I worked. I baked at night after my shift at a call center, selling to coworkers, then to their friends, then to their friends' friends. I used Facebook Marketplace before it got weird. I delivered boxes of cupcakes in the trunk of my old Corolla, praying they wouldn't slide around. I learned what butter does in humidity, how to cost ingredients down to the gram, how to make a frosting that didn't melt in the car. I did it all while my sister rolled her eyes at my little baking thing and asked if I could whip up something for her friend's baby shower as a favor. The first time I said yes to that favor, I regretted it instantly. Brooke told her friend I'd do a dessert table. Not cupcakes, an entire table. Cookies, cake pops, a 2-tier cake. She said it like she was doing them a kindness by offering my labor. Claire loves this stuff, she'd said, hand-waving. The friend messaged me directly with a mood board and a deadline. No mention of pay. I was too timid then. Too eager to keep the peace. I did it, because I didn't want Brooke to look bad. I stayed up until 3 a.m. 3 nights in a row, spent money I didn't have, and watched Brooke take credit at the party like she'd organized everything. She posted pictures with captions like, so proud of my sis, we did this. We did this. Like she'd piped frosting with her own hands instead of pouring champagne. That was the pattern. She'd show up for the fun part. The photos. The compliments. The supportive sister role. Then vanish when it was time to wash dishes or answer customer emails or fix a batch that split because you were overtired. When my business started growing, Brooke became my biggest fan publicly. She would tell people, "My sister runs her own bakery," with this prideful tilt of her chin, like it reflected on her. But privately she still treated it like a hobby that should orbit her needs. She'd call at 10 p.m. asking for last-minute orders. She'd get offended if I said no. "It's not like you have a real job," she'd say, laughing, like it was playful. Like she wasn't directly insulting the thing that was keeping all of us afloat. 2 years in, I finally got my own tiny commercial kitchen space, shared at first, then my own after I saved enough. I signed the lease with shaking hands, terrified and thrilled. I told my parents, and my mom cried. My dad hugged me and said he was proud. Brooke posted an Instagram story of my kitchen with the caption, "My girl is doing big things," and added a little crown sticker over my head. She got more reactions than I did. I learned the hard way that people love the idea of your success more than they love the reality of your work. By year 4, my business wasn't just Claire's baking thing. It was real. It was orders, invoices, a website, an LLC, a tax accountant who told me to stop using my personal card for business purchases. It was early mornings and flour in my hair and wrists that ached from mixing. It was me crying in my car once because a wedding cake cracked in transit and I had to fix it in a venue bathroom while the bridal party drank champagne nearby. And it was also money. Not millionaire money. But stable money. Enough that I moved out of my parents' house. Enough that I stopped feeling panic every time my phone buzzed, thinking it was a bill. Enough that my parents started telling people their daughter was an entrepreneur, like it made our family sound better. Brooke didn't change when I changed. She just adjusted her angle. She started asking for help. Not borrowing. Not asking to work for pay. Help, the way she always used the word, give me something because I want it. It was small at first. Can I use your Costco card? Can you cover brunch? I'll Venmo you. She never Venmo'd me. Then it escalated. I'm between jobs again. Could you spot me? Then, Mom and Dad need help with the roof. You have money now. You should contribute more. I did contribute. I paid for the roof. I didn't announce it. I didn't post it. I just did it because my parents had done what they could for me, and because I didn't want the guilt. Brooke thanked me by telling people we took care of it. The word "we" became my enemy. Then Brooke got engaged. She started planning her wedding like it was a Netflix show. Theme boards, venues, dress appointments. She asked me to do her cake as my gift, which I expected. What I didn't expect was the tone. Like it was a given, like my work had a family discount that equaled free. I told her I'd do the cake, but not free. I offered to discount it heavily and count part as a gift. I tried to be fair. Brooke's face shifted immediately, like a mask slipping. "Are you serious?" she said. "I'm your sister. And this is my business," I said. She laughed, sharp. "Wow. Money really changed you." My mom called me later, soft-voiced. "Honey, she's just stressed," she said. "You know how Brooke gets. Maybe just do it. Keep the peace. Keep the peace." The family motto. The phrase that always meant Claire, absorb it. I did the cake anyway. I did it discounted. I did it because I didn't want to be the villain in her wedding story. At the reception, Brooke introduced me to guests like I was her personal baker. "She did all of this for me," she said, gesturing at the cake like it was a trophy. People clapped. She glowed. My wrists hurt. No one asked if I was paid. They assumed family meant free. A month after the wedding, she called me crying about credit card debt. She said the wedding got away from them. She asked if I could loan her money, just until we get settled. I asked how much. She said a number that made my stomach drop. I said no. I said it gently, but I said no. That's when she got angry. Not immediately. Brooke doesn't blow up like a normal person. She collects allies. She plants versions of events. She builds a narrative where she's wronged. I started noticing little shifts, my mom sighing when I came over, my dad being quieter. Brooke posting vague quotes about people who forget where they came from. Brooke commenting on my business posts with performative sweetness. So proud of you sis, love watching you grow, like we were close. Like she hadn't stopped replying to my texts unless she needed something. Then came the cafe meeting. Brooke texted me, we need to talk. It's about fairness. She wanted to meet at a cafe near my kitchen, which felt deliberate, like she wanted to sit near the thing she thought she deserved a piece of. When she slid her notes app demands toward me, I actually felt dizzy for a second, like the room tilted. Half? I repeated. Brooke, are you actually saying you want 50% of my business? She exhaled like I was being dramatic. Not want, she corrected. Deserve. Claire, you know I've helped you. I promoted you. I've gotten you customers. I've been there from the start. You posted my cakes, I said, and my voice shook. That's not building a business. She leaned back, eyes narrowing. See? This is why Mom says you're hard to talk to now. You always act like you did everything alone. Because I did, I said, and it came out sharper than I meant. Heads turned. I didn't care. Brooke's smile vanished. Don't embarrass me, she hissed, low. I'm not embarrassing you, I said, and I could feel my hands trembling around my cup. You're embarrassing yourself. She tapped the phone again. Half is fair, she repeated. Mom and Dad agree. That made my stomach clench. They agree? Brooke's eyes flicked away for half a second, just enough to tell me she was bluffing or half lying. They want family to stay family, she said. They don't want resentment. I could feel my pulse in my ears. So your solution to resentment is to take half my business? I asked. It's not taking, she snapped. It's sharing. You've always been selfish about money. I actually laughed, once, because it was so absurd it broke something in my brain. Selfish? I said. I paid for the roof. I've covered groceries. I bailed you out quietly for years. Brooke's cheeks flushed. That was your choice, she said quickly, like she'd rehearsed it. No one asked you to play hero. And there it was. The thing Brooke does, she turns your generosity into your problem. If you give, she deserved it. If you stop giving, you're cruel. I pushed her phone back across the table. My hands finally stopped shaking, replaced by this cold steadiness. No, I said. Absolutely not. You are not getting equity. You are not getting back pay. You are not getting a monthly draw from my business. Brooke stared at me like I'd slapped her. So you're just cutting me out, she said, voice rising. After everything I did for you. You didn't do it for me, I said, and my throat tightened. You did it because it made you feel good to be attached to it. Her eyes flashed. Wow, she said, voice thick. You really think you're better than me? I think I'm tired, I said quietly. I'm tired of being treated like your success plan. She grabbed her phone and stood up so fast her chair scraped. Fine, she snapped. Don't worry. Mom and Dad will hear about this. They already have, I said, and I surprised myself with how calm I sounded. They can call me. And they did. My mom called that night, voice strained. Honey, Brooke is very upset, she started. I know, I said. She feels like you don't appreciate her support. I stared at my kitchen wall, the one with my printed production schedule taped up, the one covered in flour smudges from real work. "Mom," I said, slowly, "do you think Brooke deserves half my business?" There was a pause, too long. Then my mom said, "I just think family should share." "Share what?" I asked, and my voice shook now, not with fear but hurt. "Share my labor? Share my risk? Share the nights I slept 3 hours because I had to finish orders?" My mom sighed. "You're making it sound harsh." "It was harsh," I said. "And I did it anyway." My dad got on the phone and tried a different approach. Firm, disappointed. "This is tearing the family apart," he said. "No," I said, and my hands clenched into fists at my sides. "Brooke trying to take from me is tearing the family apart. Me saying no is just me finally stopping it." The next few weeks were awful. Brooke blasted me in family group chats, calling me greedy. She told relatives I forgot where I came from. She implied my business only existed because of family support without mentioning what that support actually looked like. Me giving, her taking. My mom sent messages like, "Can you just talk to her?" Like talking would magically make her stop demanding money. I didn't budge. I also didn't argue endlessly. I said one clear sentence over and over: "I'm not giving away equity." And when people tried to guilt me, I asked them if they'd like to give Brooke half of what they owned. The silence after that was loud. Eventually, I did something I'd avoided for years because it felt too final. I set boundaries like they were real. I told my parents I wouldn't discuss my business finances with them anymore. I stopped covering family emergencies that somehow always involved Brooke. When Brooke showed up at my kitchen unannounced one afternoon, wearing sunglasses indoors, acting like she belonged, I met her at the door and said, "You need to leave." She laughed, thinking I was bluffing. I didn't blink. I called my landlord, who also managed the building, and had him tell her she was trespassing. It felt dramatic, but so did everything else she'd done. Sometimes you have to match the energy of someone who won't hear polite. The strangest part was what happened once I stopped playing my old role. My life got quieter. Not perfect, but quieter. I stopped dreading my phone. I stopped having that constant background buzz of guilt. My business started feeling like mine again. Like a place I built, not a resource people could claim. And yes, I grieved. Because even when someone is toxic, there's still a part of you that remembers when you were kids and you thought siblings meant built-in loyalty. I mourned the sister I wished I had, not the one I actually did. Brooke still tells people she helped build my business. I can't control that. What I can control is what's true on paper and in practice. My name is on the documents. My hands made the product. My risk paid the rent. My sleepless nights kept the doors open. Family expected me to keep peace in the past. But peace that requires you to surrender your life isn't peace. It's a hostage situation with nicer words. Thanks for watching. If you've ever had a family member try to claim your hard work once it finally became valuable, share your story in the comments. I read them, and I promise you're not alone in learning that sometimes no is the first real boundary you've ever set.